So I'm reaching a crossroad where I have two choices: to go back to my physical therapy job or to essentially burn the ships and try to make this full-time creator and web designer thing happen. And I didn't want it to come to this. I thought that I would make more progress than I had already, but it turns out that this is a slow journey. And, maybe there's things that I could do to speed this along, but I just don't know what those things are, I guess. And I don't have the answers to speed this sailing ship. Right now, it's a pretty slow one at the moment. And it's not to say that it's horrible if I have to go back to my PT job, because I guess the one benefit of it is that they're readily available. So unlike anything in the tech world, it's fairly easy to get a PT job because it is gate kept. You have to go to school for 7 years. But in any case, it's a thing that I don't want to go back to, because I think about how I felt when I was doing it, and it was so emotionally draining. Like, the past several months have been great because I haven't been working that full-time job. I quit my job at the end of April, and after visiting Thailand for a month and sort of celebrating the end of working a traditional job, I've been working on trying to build, basically trying to break into the creator economy, become a full-time creator and web designer. And I've made slow progress with doing that, but it hasn't been enough progress to where it fully sustains me financially, right? Like, that's my goal, to have all of this stuff that I work on online be able to sustain me financially. I think, probably a good amount of people have a goal like that. And so I say that because the past few months has been awesome. Like, I don't dread waking up in the morning. I don't dread the night before. I work like I would a normal job. I pretty much start work at 8:30 and don't stop work till about 4:30. And whether that's working on web design or YouTube or running my school community, there's always something that I'm doing. But because they're all things that I have chosen to do, they're fun, right? I mean, they still take some effort to do. Like, it's not like I'm overjoyed every single day to do some of those things. It takes some willpower to be able to start a YouTube video or to start a web design project. So it's not to say that there aren't roadblocks, but overall, my emotional well-being is wonderful, right? And so when I contrast that to how it was when I was working a PT job, it was not like that at all. So I would come home every day drained, not even just like tired, but also, like I mentioned before, just like emotionally drained, because everyone that, well, most of the people that I worked with were in pain. And unfortunately, a lot of the people that I was working with didn't have any self-efficacy. They didn't feel like they had any control over their condition, even though they did. They didn't understand that they did at the time. And unfortunately, a lot of people are like that, right? Like, they don't understand that they have a lot of agency over how they feel, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. And pain is one of those weird things that it can really hijack your brain into thinking you have less control than you really do. And so it's not to say that I have any ill feelings toward any of the people that I worked with, but it is frustrating, right? Because I'm trying to convey to a lot of these people different strategies that they can do to help their condition, and they want something that's quick and easy, like a medication. And so there's just sort of this, it's just this frustration of, imagine that you had the solution for something, but it requires work, and the other person doesn't want to do that. And so the path to their solution is right in front of them, but they don't want to walk the path. They want to find something easier. And that's difficult. It's difficult for them as a patient, and it's difficult for me as a therapist because it feels like I'm not really enacting any kind of change on anybody. And so, yeah, when I think about having to return to that, it doesn't sound like anything I want to be a part of. Now, there's the other option where I could burn the ships, essentially, right? I have 6 months living expenses, probably like 5 months now, I would say. And so I can basically support myself till the end of the year. I don't hate that option, but I don't love it either. Because I like the fact that I have money in my savings account right now. Like, it's very nice that I look at my account and there's enough of a cushion to last 5 months. But I know that every month that goes by, that cushion is going to slowly decrease until there's nothing there and it's just the concrete floor. And I don't know. Like, there's the benefit of that, of it'll light the fire for me to do the steps that I need to do. But truth be told, like, I don't even fully know the steps that I should be taking. Like, I'm doing what I feel like I should be doing, or rather, I'm doing what I want to do. And, I'm trying to better myself as a designer and a creator, and as well as help other people. So it feels like I'm doing good work. But financially, you wouldn't know that. And, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. So that is an option, is I could burn the ships and do that. I gotta be honest, I don't love the option. And so a lot of what I'm wrestling with is, what do I dislike more? Do I dislike going back to a physical therapy job? But the benefit of that is that I will have more stability, but also less time to do this and web design and other things. Or the other option, do I dislike having less security and more freedom? Damn. I mean, that's a toss up right there. I don't fucking know. It's hard to say. There is the one thing that I can do with being a physical therapist is I can do travel contracts. So I don't have to commit myself to go back to full-time work. I can do a travel contract. They're 13 weeks long. And so if I went back to work, that's what I would do. The downside to that is they're almost always in an environment that I'm completely unfamiliar with. So I'm used to working in like an outpatient clinic, right? You hurt your shoulder, you go to this clinic, you see me, I help make your shoulder feel better. Typically, when it comes to travel, it's like you're working in a hospital, and like the environment is just totally different. It's more fast-paced, it's more stressful. No one really wants to work with a therapist when they're in the hospital. They just want to get out of there as quick as possible. And so it's just a very different type of environment to be in. Now, the benefit is that the pay is pretty wild compared to doing like full-time work. The pay is definitely a lot better. So basically, I'm weighing towards doing a travel contract or continuing doing what I'm doing. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. The other thing that is sort of affecting things is there's a lot of things like in the background that are affecting like my decision to either stick with what I'm doing or go back to maybe doing a travel contract. One of which is like my car is getting old. Okay. I've had my car, it's a 2007 Dodge, and I've had that car since I was 18 years old, right? And I'm 33 now. So I've had it 15 years. I can tell it's on its way out. It's still working fine at the moment, but the frequency with which I've had to take it to like auto repair shops has climbed exponentially the past couple years. So I would like to say it has a few years left, but it may not. It may only have a few months left. I don't know. But all that to say, there's going to be a chance I may need to have a pretty large investment in a vehicle in the somewhat near future. And so that is affecting things, because if I continue along my route of trying to make it full time with being a creator and a designer, there may be a point where I can't cover the replacement of a car, or I might be able to, but it'll cost like significant financial stress. So I don't know. I guess if you put a gun to my head and asked me what am I gonna do, I mean, unless something drastic changes in the next 3 weeks, I probably would just do the travel PT job, I guess. I don't love it. It is some security, and basically like the good thing about it is I can do that contract and I can take another couple months off or whatever. So, I mean, it's not like the end of the world. But I definitely had kind of like hopeful prospects that once I left this past PT job, it was something that I would be able to kind of not have to be a part of again. And yeah. So that's sort of what I've been thinking about. And you know, I always say, like, as I'm like talking about this out loud, like, these are such menial problems. Like, there's so many people out there that have real problems. Like, the shit that I'm like debating between is like, I feel like for a lot of people this isn't even a problem, but I'm making it out to be a problem. Like, woe is me. Like, I have to choose between getting a stable job or trying to make some dream work. Like, some people just can't even find a job. So I feel kind of bad saying this and even like having this conversation, because I realize how ridiculous it is for a lot of people to be listening to this. But yeah, I don't know. It's just what happens to be weighing on my mind at the moment. And so this whole channel has been me just speaking my thoughts and documenting my journey. Well, some of that journey is kind of going through this mental warfare of trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to do. Oops, that's my fan. I got to kick that off. I swear I have the loudest air conditioning unit in all the land. Okay, so yeah, I will say, like, the past few months have been really rewarding. Even if I go back to getting a travel PT job, the past few weeks have been, or months rather, have been really rewarding, because if nothing else, I've like gotten a taste of what it's like to kind of like work on my own and see if I even have the willpower to like continue to get up early, go to the gym, and then work at 8:30 till 4:30, because I don't have a boss, right? And so part of me, when I started, I was worried, like, do I have the willpower to do that? Because why should I get up at 5 a.m. if I don't have to? And it turns out that I've been able to do that. And so that's been really nice. I will say, like, the one downside to what I'm doing now is that I'm, it's very, I don't want to say lonely, but I am alone a lot. And because there's a difference between the two. I don't typically feel lonely per se, because there are like friends that I'll hang out with on the weekend. But I will say, like, during the week, being alone for a long period of time is maybe not the most engaging thing in the world. I will say I'm productive, but I mean, there's like times where it'll be 2-3 days where I don't talk to anybody, and that's odd. It doesn't feel normal, really. So I know going forward with what I want to pursue, I don't know how, but it needs to involve more like human communication. And I would love to be able to do like local meetups of like other YouTubers and whatnot. I mean, my channel's nowhere near large enough to where I could host a local meetup and someone would want to actually do that, because I don't even know where most my subscribers are located. Some of them are on the other side of the world, probably, mostly. But yeah, I know going forward that I need to like figure out a way to maybe incorporate a little more human interaction, even if not in person, just like talking through Zoom or something. And yeah, just like things that I'm thinking through here. But yeah, this is what's going on in my mind. So I'm loving the journey that I'm doing. It's just I'm now like at a crossroads where I really got to start thinking about whether or not I'm going to do a travel gig or not. And really the reason I had to think about it now, because I didn't really like clarify this, because some of you might be thinking, well, if you have 5 months, why don't you just wait 2 or 3 months and then figure it out? That's a great question. And the reason why it now is like a critical juncture is so I'm going to be visiting my parents who live in Florida for Christmas in December. And so because travel contracts are 13 weeks long, from what I understand, I can't really take, if I dedicate to doing a 13-week contract, I can't really take time off. And so that means that if I started in October, that would conflict with me going to visit my parents. And so the only way that I can do a travel contract is if I start pretty much in the beginning of September. Because anything later than that would conflict with me being able to see my parents for Christmas, which I'm absolutely not going to. I will make it a point to see them. I'm not going to cancel that. So that's why like this is weighing on me more heavy. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking about this more often now, is like I have about, well, I don't know when this is going to be uploaded, but right now it's like August 8th or something. And so I have a few weeks before I need to figure out, am I going to be starting this contract? Because I can't. It's basically I either do a travel contract in September or I wait all the way till January to start one. And I just don't know if I want to be put under that kind of financial stress to really essentially drain my savings account. I mean, like I've said in other videos, like I make money through YouTube, and like on average, I make $500 to $1,000 a month, which is like fucking awesome. I love that, but it's not enough to sustain me financially. And it's also very, it fluctuates a lot. Like last month, July sucked. I made maybe $100. Well, with ad revenue, let's say $250 is what I made, which is still something, but way lower than average, like by a very large margin. I don't know what the fuck happened. I need to look into that, but that was shocking to me. So anyway, I say this because while I'm making money through YouTube and design and whatnot, it's not enough to like sustain me. And so that's why I'm kind of at this crossroads at the moment. But now I just sort of feel like I'm repeating myself, which is something that I often do just internally. So I think I'm going to sign off for now. But just wanted to give you an update on what's been going on in my world. I hope everything in your world is going well, whatever you're working on, whatever you're doing in your life. Let's see, it's August, so don't know if you've had any summer vacations or anything coming up, but hope you got some fun things going on. And yeah, as always, I'll keep you on the loop with what's going on in my world. And I think that is about it. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.